All right, so it takes Coda a few minutes of this kind of work to get her into a groove. Let's go. What a bad day to video, sorry. So basically, she goes out ahead of me at all. I tap e-collar and move into her, and because she's kind of bouncing all over the place, I basically did a full 360 and moved into her completely. I did it again because she inched forward. There we go. So see that glance up at me? I'm waiting till she becomes a little bit more aware of me. And then I'm guiding her back with the leash when I turn in towards her. Heel. So right here what I'm doing is I'll say heel, tap e-collar. And then if she doesn't get back, I'm using the leash to tell her where I want her to be. So if I'm not doing the turns, I'm using the leash. That was another one to tell her where. If I do e-collar and leash at the same time, here's a little trick. If I do e-collar and leash at the same time, instead of just being at a 20 and 30 level range, for this dog, all dogs are different. That's a correction for my border collie. All dogs are different. Instead of being at a 20 or 30, I'd have to be at a 60 to have the same, effect on her, for her to feel it the same way, because the leash will compete with it. So if it's a dog that is trained or at the end of their training, I'll just use e-collar or loose leash. And then if they still need guidance, then I'll give them leash guidance. Coda still needs quite a bit of leash guidance during the warm-up phase, and then she'll get better until we see another distraction. Now I'm still doing moving into her, and I am tapping e-collar as well when I move into her here. I'm probably at a 15-20 right now. And then when we see dogs, it's the levels double, and then they go back down again. There's pressure back on the leash, and I do tap the e-collar again just to give me a little more leverage over the wild child until she gets it. See? And then I can continue with my walk until something else energizes her, which happens a lot. So right here, she starts to get ahead of me, and I tap e-collar and move in. And I'm super consistent. See, she looks at me right there. I'm super consistent because I need her to be aware of what my body is doing, where my leg is. I need her paying attention to that. That's what gives her something else to do and not be so focused on the environment. Now, what I'm working up to, there's another turn in towards her. What I'm working up to is to be able to do normal turns and her not whip around like crazy. Look at that. It was a very calm turn. But we'll see what she does on this next turn. Very nice. See how she stays next to me? Now, she was whipping around me like crazy because her pack mate, Lyric, and the baby, we have a baby, and she just loves babies to an obsessive point, who you can probably hear the baby in the background now. The baby's up there. And so see, she's kind of prancing. It is hard for her, but it's so much better than it was when we first got here. So just working the brain, mentally slowing them down and asking them to be next to you in different ways rather than just trying to demand it. We're also working the brain. There's a dog. So that I scrolled up immediately and tapped. Look, it's very, very tough for her because now the dog is back there with Lyric, with the baby, without her. She's very concerned. See the hoppiness? That's a tap. Tapping for looking back. I don't always tap the e-collar when dogs look back with soft ears. I don't always do that. But I am with her because she's so intense about it. And by intense, I don't mean she's going to take the dog's head off like in an aggressive way, but she can be reactive. It's just coming from a lot of energy, some frustration, need to control the situation, demanding to say hi, things like that. You can tell she's calmer right here. See her leaning down to sniff? That is just showing that she's calming down a bit. She'd still get aroused and run over if I let her, but that sniffing is a sign of her just being a little bit calmer. You can see the dog ahead. It had crossed sides. It was on the other side, and they were running. There was another little dog, but that was a much bigger distraction. So now I have to work her through that. We were kind of about done. She was in a good headspace, but because of the dogs, I'm back to working her the same way you saw me working her before until she's with me really nicely, which she is. She's still in sniffing mode. But as I walk away from Lyric and the baby, she gets a little uppity. Again, you're going to see it right here. Now, there is a dog behind us as well, but it's a calm little dog. She just wants to be able to see. You can see just the nose. She's much more comfortable walking towards it. She wants to be able to see where it is. A little bit of a lack of trust. And she wants to run over to her pack. And I'm messing with the black button there in this moment because we're really close to that other small dog. And I like to play around with momentary. It's not as, I don't know, it's not, I don't want to say intense. Intense is the wrong word, but it's just so much more brief, and it's kind of more of a interrupter, like a snap out of it, rather than a no. In my opinion, it can be used for that a lot more. And so if I feel like I'm communicating a lot with my dog because it might be so busy, I like to play with momentary.